Here with one of my favorite humans, Karla Smith Brown, former Milk Bar hardbody and owner of Olivie Floral, which you're going to hear all about. It's a Brooklyn-based floral studio that you need to know about. Hard stop. That's really all there is to it. We're going to hear all about Karla's background. We're going to hear about how she expresses herself and sees the world through the eyes of these incredible floral arrangements that she makes. And she's going to teach us how to make. So we're not turning on the oven today. We're not going into the refrigerator unless that's where you keep your flowers, I guess. So without further ado, Karla, you're here.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited about this. This will be super fun to take some tips from the baking world and bring them into the flower world.
I mean, first of all, no surprise. You wore so many different hats at Milk Bar, and of all the things, as we built Milk Bar, right? Together, you always approached it with this sort of sense of you'd bring an incredible idea to the table, and I'd be like, I love it, Karla, let's make it happen. And you were always the creative genius and the make it happen person. And so I love seeing your work through the eyes of these floral arrangements. One, because it just makes me so happy to know you and just to see you do what I know is one of your many superpowers on your terms, which is the only thing that matters in life, in my opinion.
Honestly, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think back at my time at Milk Bar all the time. I definitely pulled a lot of lessons that I learned being on that team and have brought them into my work with Olivie. They've been definitely transferable. So it's kind of fun to circle back and full circle come back and do flower stuff with you. It was I came out of nowhere, I guess, to a lot of people that I started a floral studio.
I'm like, that girl can do whatever she puts her mind to. Hard stop. That's all there is to it. So why flowers for you? What I wore my florals. I wore all of my spirit for you so that I could be fully prepared.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, and I'm surrounded by flowers and greenery as usual in my home. Flowers. I've just always really felt very connected to the natural world. My happy place is being in my mom's garden, planting flowers and vegetables. But after moving to New York, I didn't have an outdoor space. So I kind of wasn't as connected, except my house is completely covered in plants. But when I was thinking about what I wanted to do, I knew I wanted to do something more creative after Milk Bar, where I was able to use my hands a bit more and really get my hands dirty. And so I thought, well, flowers are something that are beautiful, and it's very interesting how you can manipulate them to create your own masterpieces with them. So it just seemed like a natural fit to kind of go down that route and explore a career in flowers. And it's been an amazing and extremely fulfilling journey so far. So,
oh my God. So you're going to teach us the art of the Olivie floral arrangement.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Tell me everything, because I love spending time outdoors. I always joke that my happy place is I want to take off my shoes and walk around in the grass or the dirt.
Exactly.
And I have a green thumb a little bit, but I know nothing about floral arrangement other than the way it makes me feel when I walk into a room or I see one of your floral arrangements on the gram. When you attach with something, that it makes you feel something. And so we need to know everything. Teach us everything. Where do we start?
Yes, no, so I'm super excited. So you have your flower kit and I have mine. So let's just do kind of a roll call for everything. Ooh, yeah.
Okay, roll call. Okay, things we need.
Things we need. Okay, so we have a small 4x4 glass cylinder vase. So this is what we're going to be building our arrangement in.
And this looks like it could be if you had a candle that you love that you were done with, you could use that. Or where else can you get one of these 4x4 glass vases?
Michael's would have. I mean, even craft stores will always have some type of vase. And I really enjoy building out of things that might not even be commonly seen as vases. You can just kind of get creative and a jar is always a great place to start. Everybody has like.
What about like a high top shoe that you put a jar in?
Exactly. Yes.
Visitors, I love it. Someone's joining a party. Okay, so and this 4x4 is kind of, it seems quite shallow based on
what we've got, right?
Yeah, is that intentional?
Yeah, so with your arrangements, you always want to build 1.5 times higher than, like, larger than the actual vessel. You don't want your arrangement to feel kind of puny and lost. So that's like a nice, you can always go even bigger, but that's like a great place to think of. So we're definitely going to be trimming down a lot of the items that we have to fit into this, but
it's okay. Butter just walked in my door, so we're getting all kinds of business. Butter, I see you.
I am not expecting anybody, so I don't know who that could be.
Dude, what would you do if I just sent you a bunch of like cereal milk soft serve right now? Like, Karla, this is supposed to be a clothesline.
That would be the best surprise.
This is your
so yeah, so 1.5 times is like your kind of the rule of thumb for your height. So this will be great for like a smaller arrangement, which we're gonna make. We have all of our flowers and greenery. So I know you have some eucalyptus.
Yeah, give me the like, how do you know what to choose? Because
Oh
this is like pure joy. And I look at it and I'm like, I think I'm done. And you're looking at it like, you're not done, Christina. This is not done.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of go, I have an idea of like the vibe that I'm going for. So at the Olivie shop online, basically I offer 2 different color palettes for arrangements. So you can get a neutral color palette or you can get a colorful color palette. So that allows me to still have the flexibility to choose the items that I feel connected to when I'm in the market. I always go to the New York Flower District when I'm buying in New York. And I just like to get seasonal, preferably locally grown blooms. So I just really go based on how I feel. Like some of the things, okay, so these are hydrangeas.
This gorgeous thing.
Yes. It's a kind of hydrangea that are that are more unique than the hydrangeas that you typically see. So I was really drawn to these, and especially the soft color of the pink with the white. So I kind of started there and then built what would complement with that.
I see. So your tip for the way that you like to work is find one bloom that you feel really inspired by, and then you sort of build around the spirit of
that. And then, yeah, what complements that? You always want to get some greenery. You want to get some like branchy flowers or like a flower with multiple blooms. So that's the hydrangea that we have fits that bill. We
Got it.
Some eucalyptus.
Which smells incredible way. I just want this in my house all the time.
I love the eucalyptus, and that is this is silver dollar eucalyptus. There's so many different types of eucalyptus, but yeah, these smell really good. They have a nice gesture.
I like gesture. I'm learning how to speak about floral arrangements now too. Blooms and gestures.
Right. And then lemon leaf. This is a really common green that you'll find in arrangement. It's just like, it's pretty simple, very versatile, inexpensive, and it just adds fullness to your arrangement.
Oh my gosh, lemon leaf.
Lemon leaf.
That's incredible. So I used to work for a pastry chef that would almost always have eucalyptus in our walk-in, and sometimes would have like kaffir lime leaf or lemon leaf, and he would steep. I think he must have got it from the person that was doing the floral arrangements for the restaurant.
Yes.
And he get it and steep it in like a heavy cream or a whole milk, and we would make like ice cream or whatever out of it. So this is like giving me all kinds of emotions and enthusiasm.
Oh my goodness, that sounds delicious.
So just we're still living the same lives right next to each other.
Right.
Okay, so I have my branchy greens. Does like aroma play a role at all, knowing how great the eucalyptus aroma sort of takes shape?
I like to at least include one flower or greenery that is very fragrant, because some flowers are actually not fragrant at all. But that's also just preference. I think that flowers, like there's so many sensory signals that you get with flowers. So it's the colors are beautiful, the look of it's beautiful, the feel and the texture, but also the smell. So I like to make sure I'm engaging all of those senses. So I love to throw some eucalyptus in wherever I can, to be honest. And then we have some dahlias.
Ooh, I have those.
So I have some darker colored dahlias. But I know you have some beautiful.
Oh, here are mine. They're beautiful. And this is sort of like, I saw these and thought of them against the hydrangeas and we're like, oh, that's interesting. This is very like, I saw the dahlias and thought, this is kind of like the don't be afraid of a bold color.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
against the hydrangea, it's deeper, it's richer. And that is like an Olivie moment, I think, right?
Yeah, you cannot be afraid of color. That is like, I love to like I reference the color wheel a lot, and I love to kind of just deep dive and like, ooh, this could be kind of an unexpected twist, or like, like not a safe choice, I'd say.
Totally.
But what you picked up, that is actually, that's a Cosmo, but you have the two-tone. Yeah. So we like the dark one, we've got the two-tone.
The Dahlia. Karla, this is Dahlia. Okay, what are these then?
Those are Cosmos.
They're also brilliant.
Right? With that little yellow center, I'm obsessed.
Well, there's so much difference in personality between the two, so I love the idea of like the mashup.
Exactly. And it's nice when you're choosing your flowers to get a flower that has so many petals that you can't really see the center, like how your dahlia is.
Oh, interesting.
And coupling that with a flower that has a very distinct center, like how your Cosmo is.
Got it.
I have one little Cosmo here.
Okay, got it. So it's not like for a flower arrangement, all flowers don't have to follow the same theme. If anything, one that kind of checks each box is kind of brings a fullness.
Exactly. And then I like to play with texture, add a bit of texture. So this is the Celosia. These are in season right now. They're so beautiful. There's so many different types and colors, but gorgeous.
I want these to be in season all year round. They're so beautiful.
I know. So
they looked like rhubarb too. When I was cutting the stems, the bottoms, I was like, I wonder if you can eat these. They look like rhubarb.
I wonder if you can eat these. I mean, edible flowers are definitely one thing. I only like to use flowers for edible things, like if somebody wants to order for cakes or for like making, like cooking. I only like to use farms that are organic to buy edible flowers, just because there's so many pesticides used on flowers and it's not as regulated as food. So it's just like, I'm not even testing that.
Yeah,
I'm
not.
I would always recommend that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's our roll call. We have the centerpiece, or like the moment of like the center point of the floral story, which is the hydrangea. We have some sort of like leafy greens. Part is the hydrangea leaf. Some is the silver dollar eucalyptus, which also has great aroma. The lemon leaf, which has really great texture and like a sheen to it that I love.
Yeah.
We have our dahlias, our
Cosmos,
and our rhubarb.
Yeah.
We'll put this one all together. Celosia.
But we can call it rhubarb for today.
Our rhubarb flowers.
And we have our clippers.
I have my clippers, which I was telling Karla when I saw her the other day. She got me these that are like the most perfect milk bar pink because she's a brilliant human. And I was like, oh my God, I used to have a pair of clippers like that. I bought them at the dollar store. And she looked at me like, how long did those last? And I was like, they lasted for about 3 cuts. So I feel like these are probably the most powerful investment that you could make.
Absolutely. And you can use them in the garden too. If you're not doing flower arrangements, you can always use them as snips in the garden.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And then do most cities have floral like districts and markets? If you aren't in like New York or LA, what would be your approach? Is it like just get in the car and drive around the neighborhood and like bring a cookie or two and say, hey, do you mind if I steal some blooms, or I'll trade you some blooms for cookies?
That's always a good idea. I mean, I love to forage. I definitely don't bring cookies. I just have my clippers. Hello, and grab a few stems. But yeah, not all cities have like a built out flower district. So if you're in an area that doesn't have like a very established flower district, you can always get flowers at the grocery store or totally fine. Like you can get some really pretty flowers at the grocery store that you can totally work with.
That's a good one. I feel like Trader Joe's has a strangely robust,
amazing
flower.
Absolutely.
Got it. And I've also seen on like the roadsides recently, there are a lot of like, as long as the weather is still good where you are, there's a lot of like you pick floral stands where you can kind of, people are just like, you can come into my farm and just get it done in a way that I think is really sweet too.
Absolutely. And there's nothing better than like a flower farm to get everything so fresh.
Okay. So Google flower farm or grocery store, or like be a little adventurous and forage.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I like this.
So to start with our arrangement, so we're going to actually tape our vase. So it's nice that we have, so you have your tape, right?
Yeah. So what makes this, so I have 1/2 inch clear floral tape. What makes this tape so like special to floral arrangements?
Well, typically, I guess you can use any tape. This just sticks onto different materials of vessels really well.
Got it.
And it's nice and clear, so when you are using it, then you won't see it. But I haven't tried it, but I don't see why you couldn't try using Scotch tape. As long as the vessel is dry, then you should be able to
yeah, it's a 1/2 inch, so it's like not that much different width-wise than, of course, I'm out of Scotch tape. But like even something like packaging tape, which is a bit more like dense and thick.
Yeah.
There's not like, it's not like it's silicone based or what have you. It's just made to be able to hold on to the surface of something you're going to fill up with water and flowers.
Exactly, because the worst thing you want, like this is actually going to make sure that it stabilizes the shape of the arrangement. So the worst thing would be to have it like fall apart.
And I imagine you can get this floral tape at craft store, online, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Floral districts.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely online, definitely at any craft store, you should be able to. And it comes in different sizes. I got the 1/2 inch one. It's pretty versatile, but it also comes in like a 1/4 inch, very small lines. So we're going to make a grid on the top of the vessel. For this, I like to do 2 lines across going the same directions, like 2 parallel lines.
Got it. Kind of centered.
Here, let me see. I'm going to use my knife.
You're like blowing my mind because I had no idea that this is actually how it's done.
Yeah, this is a great technique that people can use at home. We use it at flower shops too. And but like there's other options like using chicken wire. Some people use flower foam.
I mean, but the idea that all you need is like a vessel that's glass or unexpected and a little bit of tape to set this up is blowing my mind right now. I have these I already have everything I need. I just need a Karla Smith Brown session. Okay.
Exactly. So we're gonna do 2 parallel. Of course, it's clear tape, so you can't.
Oh, there. No, I can see it now. 2 parallel lines. Okay, got it.
And so that you have some evenly spaced areas.
And then I saw you cut them. It was almost as though like we don't want that tape to go too far over the edge of the glass jar. Is that right? Yeah.
So just try to get it like no more than a 1/2 inch over the edge. Oh, that looks great. Perfect.
Oh my
God. And
God.
then you're going to go across to the other side so that it's perpendicular. 2 parallel lines that go through the first 2 parallel lines.
Got it. And these are like, we're kind of like setting the resting spots for some of our branches.
Exactly.
Good. This is incredible. Okay, Karla, I'm just gonna I have to do it. You have to tell us. So y'all, I saw Karla the other day. I was like, what have you been up to? Like, what kind of stuff? Like, what kind of gigs have you been up to? Like, first of all, Olivie just launched an online floral shop where Karla, you can choose between your neutral palette or your colorful palette. And she will bring a magical vision of hers to life in your color palette, the palette you choose. And then she delivers all around New York City and Brooklyn to just bring life to your life. But then she also just low-key casual was like, oh my God, I did a floral arrangement for a little music video. I'm sorry, a music video? You showed up, you made floral arrangements for okay. How is the song? When does it come out? Tell us everything.
I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know. They haven't told us much information. I probably shouldn't talk too much about it, but.
No, okay, we never heard anything except for y'all. I know you heard, don't say anything, but you're gonna know when you see that music video and you see Killer Blooms, you're like, oh, I know who did that.
Right, exactly.
I already have her floral arrangement at home on my table right now. Don't even worry about it.
I know. I'm everybody's gonna know. I'm posting that all over.
I'm posting it everywhere. Okay, so I have my grid. There it is.
The last step, just as a reinforcement, you're gonna go around the perimeter of the vessel and just
right at the collar of it, right at the tippy top.
Yeah. So to kind of just go along all the way around and make sure that those pieces that you take don't lift.
Got it. You are blowing my mind. How come no one teaches you this in life?
Regular life.
How did you learn? Are you self-taught? How do you learn the basics, and then how do you learn stylistically? How do you learn the basics? How do you develop your own style?
Yeah. So, I've taken a few courses just for basics. And then also just read a lot of books by other florists, lots of YouTube. But I also worked at a flower shop in Brooklyn where I know lots of people spend a lot of money taking courses offered by different flower schools. But working at a flower shop, I learned so much. That is the best education I ever got. And you really see how much work goes out into everything. And also the different styles of arrangement, you get to really learn a foundation so that I was able to be okay, well, this is how I'm going to judge that a little bit. You need to know the basics in order to change it,
So sort of go, what if I do this? What if I do that? What if I dabble? Ooh, I like the way that looks. She doesn't like the way that looks, or he's not into it, but I'm into it.
Exactly. Yeah. And even just the flowers, every shop or every designer will have their own taste in what kind of flowers they use. There's lots of flowers I'm no, not my style. That you develop that over time,
That is so cool.
And then I was in Miami doing an installation workshop. So I did the Biltmore Hotel there. We got to be there for a week in Miami building these huge flower installations. And that's where I learned how to do, learn the mechanics behind building an installation.
That's insane. That's insane. I think what's really cool about Olivie is the ways in which you show up in the world. That you will show up in these big gorgeous flower arrangements for a sort of a big moment or a big business, whether it's the centerpiece of a lobby or this or that, all the way to a music video, something super artistic and really brought to life, to a large scale installation too. I will make you a killer floral arrangement and deliver it to you. That you have this you've created this incredibly wide range of how your vision shows up in the world.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just insane. I love it. It is a not one size fits all, but the ways in which you have the ability to show up, I just think is so brilliant.
Thank you.
Ugh.
Okay. So next we're going to add some water to our vessel. So you always want to, before you even start doing the taping, I should say, you want to make sure everything's clean too. The biggest killer of flowers and why you think, oh my gosh, my flowers died so fast. It's often because there's bacteria in the vessel or on the tool. So these are new, these are clean, they're great. But I like to also wipe my vessels down, clean them out with bleach.
Got it. Bleach water is totally like the sterile way that you'd prefer to go before you go in. Okay.
Yeah, fantastic.
Okay. That's good.
And
same with your tools, which I think is another really smart tip.
Yeah, exactly. So soapy water for your tools is totally fine.
Okay.
So I have some water here. So I'm going to fill this. You want to get it to about 3/4 full.
Okay, got it. So we did the grid, and then we taped one ring around to make sure it's all there. We made sure our vessel was clean and sanitized, ditto tools. And then this is just like cold tap water that we're adding in 3/4 of the way full.
Exactly.
What's the story with like you put aspirin in the water or whatever it is? Is that just like a thing that some people believe in?
I haven't even heard of the aspirin trick, but I mean, there's tons of things that people will do. And I haven't heard the aspirin, but usually like putting like a tablespoon of bleach or putting sugar in the water, I've heard. That's not all necessary. If your florist gives you flower food, definitely dump it in. But the most important thing is keeping them clean and then changing your water every day for the same reason. Yeah.
That's the best. I've done the sugar water thing before, and it's probably no surprise to you that like I made like simple syrup to a point that like fruit flies were all up in my flour. Like it wasn't a good look. I added a little too much sugar. And from then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I need call Karla, call Olivie, help.
That seems very on brand for you though. Okay, so now
very good about the work that I've done so far, even though there's nothing in it yet.
Well, it looks great. You've got a great foundation.
I've already learned so much.
So now we're going to start by building a bed with our greenery. So the greens really give your arrangement some shape. This is where you can decide on the height and the movement of how your arrangement will look.
And I'm going for like if I'm taking a big branch of my lemon leaf, I'm using your sort of like 1.5 times taller than my vessel. I mean, I can march to the beat of my own drum, which I totally heard, but that's an interesting ratio to start. So I can kind of clip and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like for the beginning, for the greenery, just start with like a low bed. So
got it.
Because you're going
Don't go high yet. Don't go high
yet. You can have maybe like one greenery going high, but get some nice low pieces just so that it's not, you can't start high because then you'll have nowhere to go.
Got it. And then I'm building on like my outer grid. I'm filling in my little outer squares.
Each of the holes of your grid, the only thing you want to make sure to keep in mind is you want to remove any leaves that will go into water. So you don't want any leaves that go below the water line. So you can rip them off, snip them off, and
okay.
So I'm gonna go around. Anything that looks dead, then yeah, also take that and get rid of that.
Got it. And it's okay if for right now they just go over the edge.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Up. Okay, so we're not like placing right now. We're kind of just in like filling mode.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand. Okay, first of all, I love that you named the shop Olivie because there is so much behind that name.
Yeah.
Will you Dear Diary Bake Club a little bit on Olivie?
Yeah. So I mean, Olivie, the name is really special to me. My great-grandmother's name, who's from Jamaica. Like I'm of Jamaican heritage. I was raised in Canada, but my background's Jamaican. And I was in Jamaica 2 years ago, visiting family and going to the beach, of course. And I went to Granny Olivie's house and like her gravesite, and spent a lot of time in my hometown, like where my family's from. And I was just felt
parish is that?
It's called St. Elizabeth Parish. Yeah, so it's the bread basket of Jamaica, we like to say. It's such a lush
Why
area.
is it called the bread basket?
It's just so lush. There's so many different, like just mangoes even. Like there's so many different types of mangoes that you can get, and the majority of them come from St. Elizabeth. So it's like, yeah, it's a very lush part of Jamaica. So I was there and I just knew, I felt so inspired to kind of bring something back or like honor my heritage in some way. So when I was thinking through starting a business, a flower business, I realized, well, there's no better person to name this after than Olivie. And just like her energy is unmatched. Like she was such a feisty lady. Like she was like, she just ran her whole small town. Like she had her big farm with cows and goats and three-legged dog, and everybody knew her, and she was just like the feistiest lady. And so I just wanted to keep that same energy. So everything that I do, I try to approach it with the Olivie spirit.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Why are grandmas just the best?
Honestly.
I like a little bit, I always as like a little kid was like, man, my grandmas, I always thought my grandmas were my best friends. I don't know that they thought I was their best friend, but I really wanted to be their best friend. And I just love their sort of like no nonsense, sort of like, when do you get to the point in life where you know enough where you're like, I'm not here for posturing, I'm no nonsense, I'm a march to the beat of my own, like every single day in this beautiful, true, unapologetic way.
Exactly.
I'm like waiting for that moment.
Yeah, like when does that shift happen? Like
this is what I want to know. You tell me if you figure it out before me, and ditto, okay?
Right? Yeah, please. No.
I love she's the namesake though. I think that is like the closest thing you've got to get to like I'm gonna get to that, and she is gonna be there with me making
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah, she was such like a matriarch in our family, so it I'm so happy that I'm able to like honor her in this way.
Oh. Okay, when do I know when
greenery you need? Okay, let's hear.
I'm gonna give you, hold on, let me prop mine up a little bit.
Okay.
And you tell me how you think I'm doing. Like I basically only filled out the one I'm very into already, just like the act of this, because it's very like a thing that you can like do while you're chatting or do while you're listening to music. It's a very, you're in your own head, in your own imagination. Like there are kind of, aside from like the basics of length and assortment, it very as much feel is like my sense of it.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's rules, but not really. You can kind of just like go with it, you know, see what you feel is right, as long as you're building enough structure to play with.
It's just true artistry, which I'm very into. Okay.
Well, it looks like you have a good amount of greens.
Okay.
Yeah, you have them all the way around. Sometimes I like to just, as I'm working, keep turning the arrangement to kind of see like, how it looks from different angles.
Oh, I see. Oh, I found a little spot here. Okay, got it.
And then
I can always add more green later.
Exactly.
If I see a spot I don't like.
You can always add more green. Also, like you can think through, like some flower arrangements are going to be front arrangements where there's like a front side of it, how you look at it. And some flower arrangements are going to be 360 arrangements where it's just like a real table centerpiece that people can walk all around. So thinking through where you're going to place your arrangement also helps guide the design. That's
a really great point. Okay, that makes total sense. So like, is it going in your home? Where is it going? Are you bringing it to someone? Right. Are you yours for the next music video of Panina singing, whose name we've already mentioned once, so rewind if you missed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Very serious NDAs over here. Okay, I like that. So be thinking with the intention of where it's going and how it's going to show up. Okay.
Exactly.
And then I did my turning, and I'm doing my, like, I'm checking on my leaves and making sure everything's in a good place. Okay.
Oh, I like how like wide yours is getting too. I think that's looking really good.
It's going to take up a lot of space, Karla. I'm not going to be shy about what I'm putting together here. I'm proud. I gotta like really show up here.
So next we're going to add our hydrangeas in.
Okay. Because they're like our point of inspiration, or because they're just the biggest bloom?
Well, they're what we would call the foundational bloom. So this is just going to kind of enforce the shape, and break up the greenery and like act as a supporting layer for when we put our statement bloom in.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what is this one? What is it called? The anchor bloom? No.
Foundational bloom.
The foundational bloom. Okay. I got to watch you cut yours and place yours first because I'm nervous I'm going to cut mine too short.
Oh, no worries. And like you have quite a bit, so don't even worry about it. So I'm going to take a lot of my greenery off.
Okay.
I'm not very happy. And also I think there's something pretty beautiful about showing the branch with the flowers. So I'm going to And when you cut your flowers, you always want to cut at a 45-degree angle.
Oh, got it.
So that you can kind of add enough surface area. So by cutting it at an angle, it allows for more water to be absorbed by the flower.
Oh, interesting. And so if you're using one of these sweet little clippers, that basically means that the clipper is almost straight up and down when you go to cut it.
Yes, if you can get that, you want to
got it.
Surface area as you can. So.
Oh, okay, got it. So 45 degrees. So you should be able to see a little bit of like the inner.
Exactly.
Whoa. Okay, got it.
Because think of it as like when you cut yourself and then your skin starts to scab. Once it scabs, then there's no more air. Nothing else can get in. It starts to have. So it creates like a barrier. So a fresh cut allows for more water area to come in.
Got it. I'm super into this, Karla. I think I might have to follow in your footsteps.
Yeah.
Post Milk Bar and just go work in a floral shop. I'm gonna take a day off a week and go work in a floral shop.
I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible idea.
I'm having a magical time right now in a way that makes me wonder why it took me so long in life to learn how to do this. This might be my hobby, thanks to you.
Yeah, it's super fun. And then especially if you start growing flowers.
Well, this was going to be my question of like, when does KSB like move to a plot of land in Brooklyn where she can have her own flower farm?
That would be amazing. I mean, I'm looking for a studio space right now that has like outdoor space. So I can even just have like a small, like urban flower farm. So even for like some of my jobs, I can use flowers that I grow, at least in the summer, since we do deal with really cold winters.
Oh, that's a really good point.
But I'm going to
start sending you Zoom. I'm going to start sending you, what are they called? Zillow links, I think.
Yes, please.
I'm on it. Okay, so I have 3 hydrangeas in, and having 0 experience, I'm like so nervous about the amount of space I do or don't have for my stems.
Don't worry about it. Always think of also in odd numbers. So you have 3 now. You can put I think 5 stems would be good. 5 stems of these would be good. You want to spread them around. You can have some going lower, some going higher to create.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And like move the vessel around so that unless you're doing
a little turn.
Exactly. And so you're going to create some kind of spaces. You're kind of just reinforcing the shape. So for mine, I want to go up a little bit, kind of curved, and then I have some going out, angles.
Okay, got it. My guru over here. Okay, real talk. How hard is it to start your own floral arrangement company? Floral arrangement, how would you describe it? Floral company.
Yeah, so I mean, some people consider themselves florists. I consider myself a floral designer. Because I want
floral design agency.
Yeah, so how I describe my business, it's a floral studio. So I don't necessarily have a physical shop people can walk into, but I do a lot of like set design work with flowers, like production work. for photo shoots and events. So that's just like you hire the studio, similar to like a design studio.
Got it. Floral studio.
Yeah.
How hard, like, what was it like to start Olivie last year in 2019?
It was something. It was a huge learning curve. It was just like, where do I begin? Like also imposter syndrome is a real thing. Like, I actually know what I'm doing. Like, is this like, how can I get people to trust me to know what I'm doing? I think that getting experience really helped boost my confidence in my style as well.
Interesting.
So the best thing I did was like just get experience and work at a flower shop. And then what I was also doing was doing pop-ups. So I would do these different pop-ups like on the weekend, and I would sell hand-tied bouquets. And that was a great marketing tool for me to like practice, one, make my hand-tied bouquets, but then also meet people and tell people about my business. And that really actually helped get me a following. So now I have people that like literally come to me because they met me at a pop-up that I was doing. So that was like really how I got into it.
I mean, you've always been, I mean, Karla wore many hats at Milk Bar, but she was really like the master marketer on many different levels, whether it was like in event world or coming up with brilliant ideas or figuring out how to solve a creative problem. So it like on some level is no surprise to me that you're like, oh yeah, I figured out these like brilliant marketing techniques. And also I totally get that like the struggle, that it's real, that it's like these things that we talk about are real things, and you just kind of you got to get out of your own head and just kind of start.
Yeah.
Just go at it.
Do it. Yeah.
Ugh.
You just start and then you get better. It's just like any artist. Like sometimes I look at the work that I did, like when I first started, like some of my early pop-ups, and it's like, wow, that was an interesting choice. Like, why did I decide to do that, you know? But it's like you're just constantly evolving, which is the beauty of like being creative too.
I love that. And you have to be gentle with yourself, because it was like, I'm sure, super emotional and representative of something that was visually really meaningful for you at the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have 5 hydrangeas.
Awesome. Ooh, I love the colors that are coming through.
I know. I try to choose some that had like deeper colors of petals, and then ones that had a little bit lighter.
Nice.
And I'm not exactly sure where the direction is, but I'm dealing with height and space for sure.
Okay.
It's an unsolved mystery, but it's going somewhere.
It's happening. So next we're going to do our statement blooms. So in this one, the statement blooms would be these beautiful dahlias. So we can add those in. I like to have some coming from the bottom to kind of give like an anchor, and then also some coming. So
a shorty. And so here's my other question. Like I have some dahlias that like each branch has one in bloom, and then there are some that haven't bloomed yet. Is that like for sure take that because it's something magical will happen there?
Exactly. Yeah, I like to, so I cut down the stem, but I like to keep the little buds, even if they don't fully open. I think there's something also beautiful about the buds. So keep those in to add interest. I mean, it's all about just adding interest and texture, and like kind of just going with what the flower is already doing. If a flower is like facing one direction or has some small blooms coming from it, then just lean into that a bit.
Okay, got it. And it's kind of like dealer's choice as to like how much of the leaves do you leave or do you take down or what have you. It's kind of like it's your choice is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely. The only thing that you just don't want any leaves to be below the water line.
No leaves below the water line. Got it. Same
other than that, yeah, like keep as many leaves as you want on.
Okay. Oh my God, this is just incredible. This is just the best time. I can't believe that I get to call this work. Wait, is that, I'm saying that out loud and wait, is that what you say to yourself? Call this work.
No, it's like, it does take a lot of work, and then we haven't even talked about the cleaning part. There's so much, as you're probably noticed, there's so much.
Well, I have that question for sure. Like, what do I do with all the stuff over here?
There's so many leaves left over, like, or on the ground, you know? So it's like, there's definitely a huge sweeping aspect to floral design.
You gotta be really good at cleaning, y'all. It's the same thing with working in a kitchen though. If you don't know how to clean, bye.
Exactly.
Bye. Oh, I think I've hit something in a positive way.
You like it? Okay.
I think I found something that I'm excited about.
I like how that sounds.
Which is good. Okay, so your customer base is nationwide, though right now I imagine there's not as much studio work from like a large scale event standpoint, only sort of like closed sets, and then a lot of like home floral arrangement delivery.
Exactly, yeah. So events are sadly not as much a thing in our post-corona life right now. So yeah, so I'm hoping that eventually that will come back, because I really love building installations like on site for an event. But yeah, so right now I'm just doing, production started again, so I'm just been focusing on set life and home floral.
I mean, it's gotta be, I am like, why am I not ordering a floral arrangement from you every week? I mean, this is already bringing so much joy into my world, into my home, into like the environment that doesn't really change that much.
Right.
It smells fresh. It smells like I'm outdoors and in nature. It's colorful, so you get that like visual boost of like joy and energy, which is, I think, just brilliant. And then will you talk to us about, so if someone is not in one of your delivery ranges, there's a ton of other sort of like floral artists that they can reach out to, but specifically you were telling me about this incredible like Black florist like community that you are starting to sort of compile with a few other florists in the neighborhood, like a collective of really great florists that that we can think about supporting if for some reason we can't get our hands on these beautiful blooms to arrange ourselves.
Absolutely, yeah. So there are so many florists across the country, and I feel like what I've noticed is that there's not as many Black florists. So whenever I do meet a Black florist, it's always like, okay, let's stay in touch, let's connect, and let's like work together. Like if we have like a passion project, or if there's a job that I can't do, or if you need a hand, like I still will freelance. So I can always help other florists. So me and this other florist, her brand is called Floral Symbiosis. She's also based in Brooklyn. So we've decided to start a collective just to like create basically just a community of Black florists, so that we can like connect with each other, share resources, share tips. And like, I mean, I haven't done a funeral arrangement before, and that's like its own thing. So I'm sure when I have to do that, I'm gonna have my own challenges. So like going to a community like, hey guys, any tips for this? That would be super helpful. So that's kind of what we're creating. Just, it's all based around community and like supporting each other.
Oh my God, I love it. And we can follow to learn more about this collective and understand ways in which we can support at all. I mean, we can just stay tuned for updates and for your brilliant floral arrangements at oliviefloral.com. And then the gram handle is the same.
Exactly. So on Instagram, it's at Olivie Floral, and I'm definitely going to keep posting updates about what's happening with the collective, and if there's any florists that people can recommend, or if you're a Black florist and you want to join, like how to join, just to continue to grow the community. Our goal is to get it nationwide. We're starting in New York. We want to go nationwide, and then globally, really, because why not, right?
Well, why not? You were also telling me like floral, like these like really beautiful floral artists like yourself, these floral studios, they exist they exist nationwide. I mean, think about the fact that like where these different blooms maybe are native to or otherwise, or the sort of curiosity and creativity that comes out of the like natural growing flora and fauna of areas all over the world are huge. Were you telling me London is a really big floral city?
London, yes, London is definitely a big floral city. There's some of my favorite like flower companies are based in London, actually.
Just so curious. Like, I wonder. This sort of like reminds me of when I'm having a little bit of like a dreary day, whether it's like raining or not. I think of London as having like usually kind of overcast. Yeah. Some like the weather represents a dreary mentality, and I can't help but wonder if the floral community is so booming there, because I mean, this is an incredible mood booster.
Exactly. And actually there must be some correlation with that, but also like think about a traditional English garden, like beautiful. So I think they have the climate to also grow beautiful blooms. And then it's in Europe, so you can get a lot of flowers from Holland much easier. Like Holland has amazing blooms.
They have like tulip farms in Holland or something.
Yeah, create so many things in even the New York market. Are flown in from Holland.
Geez, I didn't realize that. Okay, so what's the story? I'm going, I know the odd numbers,
yes,
high, low, rotate, and I'm kind of, I just put our rhubarb flower in, and I'm feeling very happy about where it's at, whether that's what I was supposed to do or not. I just got really excited about it. It called out to me, and I figured, as my resident artist mentor, that you would appreciate that when it calls to you, you pick up the phone.
You just go. I'm going there too.
And then you kind of just sort of like fill in, knowing, okay, reminding yourself, like, where is this going? What kind of point of view does it need to have situationally, and what kind of spirit do I want to give it?
Right. Mine's going to be just a one-sided arrangement, so this is going to definitely be the front. So I'm kind of working through how that looks. But I love these fuzzy bits. They're so cute.
Fuzzy bits they really are like the texture that feels like it brings this whole piece together, which what I really like about it is I don't know that I would have like had the guts to choose it myself. And so I'm really happy that you chose it for me.
Yeah, no, I think that
it's like a part of it is risk taking, right? Like how do you know things go together until you've given them a try?
Exactly. And what's great is that like thinking through kind of elements, like you want to have like texture, you want to have lines and space. You want each flower to kind of feel like they have their own moment. So you don't want to overcrowd too much with each of the items, but you want to space it out nicely. So shape, texture, color is a big component of an arrangement, obviously.
Oy.
Are you doing a 360 or are you doing a...
I know that I've said out loud that I know I need to know, and yet I don't. I'm like having so much fun in the process that I'm like, you need to get it together. You need to get your life together, Christina, because I don't know, like, who am I giving this to? Where will it live? Is it 360? And I don't want to go through the process of them like second guessing myself, because that's not fun. Yeah.
So you can still figure it out. See how it like kind of feels like, and you can keep working with it, and then you're like, oh no, this is definitely the front.
Oh no, this is the front. Got it. It'll speak to me.
Exactly.
It'll speak to me. Okay, what is, like, if you could choose any flower, like, what is your favorite flower to work with? Maybe that's the best one. Like, do you, like, from a signature standpoint, is there something that, like, when we see a floral arrangement, we can be like, that's Karla, that's Olivie. I know that look, I know that spirit. Is it around flower? Is it around, like, how do we know your mark? Well, one, I can already see it in a really beautiful way. Mine feels a little bit like a hot mess compared to yours, even though I've been doing this alongside you.
No, I feel like it's so tough to like my favorite I'm so seasonally minded that it's hard. Like I have different flowers that I love for each season, which makes it a little bit difficult to answer that. But I mean, classic flowers like dahlias right now are like my total jam. So like in everything that I'm doing, you're gonna see dahlias. Anthurium, I love using tropical flowers. And I think that that's something that I try to be conscious of using, since the company is kind of an ode to my great grandmother, that I try to make sure I'm incorporating something tropical in some way to kind of go back to that. So whether it's like color or just greenery that's tropical, I really do enjoy including that. So yeah, Anthurium is definitely a move. But yeah, I just kind of go with like how I feel and what is in season and what feels like natural to me. But some flowers like dahlias, ranunculus, for sure.
Oh, ranunculus I love.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, how many plants do you have at home that you're growing? Because I see your sweet little ivy, and then I'm like, does that one have a name? What about that one? What about that one?
I want to say maybe like 40 plants, because we have some little baby ones as well.
Are you like constantly sprouting new ones?
Yeah, so I've had to stop doing that. Like it's becoming a little bit, I've run out of space for my plants. So now I need to build shelves so that I can hold more plants. And also everything's getting so big. But yeah, I feel like I have about 40 plants, ranging from like tiny cactuses to like a giant fiddle leaf fig tree to like the trailing plants, like succulents, I think I have 3 rubber plants. It's like so much.
For air purification.
Exactly. I have a couple snake plants. Those are also good for air purification. Like these are all very healthy choices, you know?
They're healthy choices, Karla. I have like an obsession with propagating my plants. All right, I feel like I'm at a good place, but I need like maybe, can you critique mine and tell me like how far on or off am I, maybe is my question.
Did you put the cosmos in?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you can pepper those throughout to kind of give some lightness.
Got it. So here's mine.
Oh, wow. This is abundant.
I was going to say, I think I might have inadvertently adopted more is more. And like, I can't decide, it might be too much, but I can't.
Definitely a more is more situation. I think that maybe you should try clipping some of your greenery that feels, if it's crowding around, like just make sure that you have enough space between the flowers to give everybody a moment to shine.
Yeah, there's not. Everyone is quarantining together in my floral arrangement. Okay.
There's no social distancing happening.
There's no social distancing. Okay, so from here, I can either just take out some of my beautiful greenery or just kind of thin it down, I suppose.
Yeah, you can take your clippers and just go in and like, if there's any leaves that are just like, okay, this is just creating clutter, then just like clip that off.
Okay. Or if like directionally it's just not behaving, it's like honor it, but also honor that it doesn't want to go wherever you're trying to get it.
Where you have it, exactly.
Okay.
Maybe it wants to be somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay, Karla, are you ready to see my?
Yes, please.
There we go.
Oh, this is beautiful. This was a great edit. This is gorgeous.
Edit was important because it was feeling a little overwhelmed. Maybe I still need a little more edit over here, but I think it's going to be 360. And I know if I tell Will that it's your masterpiece, do you think he'll believe me?
I mean, Will, he's kind of hard to fool. But
he's hard to fool. He's going to be like, I know KSB, and that is a really good try, Christina.
It's gorgeous, though. I think you did an amazing job.
I feel like I am really happy with where I landed, and I am like fully dedicated to the to improving my newfound craft in floral design, and it's all thanks to you.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy you enjoyed it. No, you're natural, no surprise.
I don't know about that, but I'm really, really, really grateful to get to spend time with you. I'm so grateful for you to be so giving of all of your knowledge and all of the pointers and how to put together a killer floral arrangement. I love hearing about Olivie. Bake Club, you better show up. OlivieFloral.com or at Olivie Floral. You got to get that floral arrangement delivered to you. You'll get more updates on pop-ups that are coming up later in the season, I'm sure, about the Black Florist Collective and more. And Karla is obviously the most generous curator and artist around. So I'm sure if you need something, if you want to reach out, if you have an incredible opportunity, you better get after her, because she is in high demand for all of the brilliance that is that one right there, that gorgeous floral arrangement. I have a long way to go, my friend, but I want to say it's like who wore it better, and mine's like 3% and yours is 97%. I am so in awe of you and so grateful for all the incredible things that you taught us today and that you'll continue to teach us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is super fun. I haven't done a Zoom flower exchange workshop before, so this is a great.
We're your first. Well, you're our first. We didn't bake. We didn't do anything that was about ingesting. It's about appreciating. And I am so, so, so pumped for all the things that we learned, and that Bake Club gets a little slice of Olivie Floral. And Karla Smith Brown! Thank you so much, Mama. You are the greatest.
All right.
I'll text you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.